Well, here we go. Do you like my new background? I know it's not perfect, but little by little we'll get there. And I was going to try to be really perfect in everything I do. And then I just decided not to be. I decided to be real and let you watch the steps as I grow through the process. So, in my little podcast, what I wanted to talk about, and I have that new format that I'm following for our harmonious mind. And that is the steps that we all do when we're trying to heal ourselves, whether we're trying to transform ourselves. Really, transforming just means, coming into a new you, just moving on to the next stage of wherever it is you're going through or what you're going through, whether you're getting a new job, whether you're going through a divorce, whether you're healing yourself from like a broken leg or a surgery, whatever it is that you're doing in some kind of a transformative or in the middle process, we all go through certain stages. And those stages are what we talk about here and what I'm writing about in my book. And the stages are this. One, we all either say a prayer, we meditate, and then we do some breath work. So think about this for a moment. Before we do anything in life, a lot of times we're like, oh, please let this work out for me. And then we kind of get quiet and we like let the answers come to us, or we let the fear take us over, or we let the excitement take us over. One of those things generally happens with us. And then we breathe. We take a breath in and let it go. Before you walk out on stage to speak, speakers do it all the time. They say a little prayer, they have a moment of silence, and then they take a breath. You take a yoga class, that's what you do. Little prayer, moment of silence, and then you breathe. Athletes, runners are the best. Athletes are great before you see it. Football players right now, the NFL, they go through that. Again, you watch them. Ask for something, which is prayer. They meditate, they let it come in, that's listening. And breath work is bringing it in and moving forward. The next thing that we talk about that is called letting it go. We have to just let go of certain things, whatever that is. Whatever that is. And letting go it's about the stories and the things, the thoughts, the habits that no longer are working for us. And I like to say that when we are letting go of the stories or the habits or the thought patterns or whatever it is that we are need to be letting go of, it means we're letting go of what we are not. So if we're a flower and we're like got weeds all around us, we're just weeding everything. We're getting rid of what we are not, which are the weeds. And then when we can do that, then we're able to remember who we are. And I mean, remember like RE dash member. We get to put ourselves together, remember ourselves as how we are, how we need to be. Getting rid of who we are not, that's letting go. And then remembering who we are, we get to put it together, which brings us back into the next level that we talk about, which is radical acceptance. It's radical acceptance. And that means accepting who we are as an individual, our strengths, our the things that we're really good at, sometimes the things that we're really bad at, or where we are, particularly in life or in any situation. I'm in the hospital, I got a broken leg. That's radical acceptance. Those are the facts. That's how it is today. And once we can do that, rather than getting angry, then we can start with self-love and self-care. And if we can remember that the opposite of love is fear, right? The opposite of love is fear. It's not hate, it's fear. So when we can love ourselves, so I'm just going to use a broken leg as an example. You're in the hospital, you got a broken leg, you accept that about yourself. When you can love yourself for the fact that, yeah, I got a broken leg, it's how it is, then you can start self-care, self-care. You can start doing the things that you need to do to care for yourself. If you get fearful and start thinking, oh my God, I'm afraid this is going to happen or that's going to happen, and you let fear in, the self-care takes a while to begin the process. I'm hoping that makes sense to you. So we're going to use that. Then the next thing that happens is the next phase is we need to make ourselves vulnerable, and we become vulnerable. Again, using the broken leg theory, when we start rehabbing ourselves, because now we love ourselves, now we're caring for ourselves, and now we're rehabbing, it's painful and it hurts. And we're vulnerable, and we have to ask for help. We have to ask for somebody to take us to the bathroom. We have to ask for somebody to walk us down the hallway. We have to ask for help. So therefore, we're becoming vulnerable. All right. So we might be a little embarrassed. We might be frustrated, but we need to make ourselves being vulnerable. Then after that, what happens is we need to have a purpose. In order to get ourselves through rehab, it's important to have a purpose. Whether it's I want to be on the ski slopes again, I want to ride my bike again, I want to get this stuff done, that becomes your purpose. But when you're sitting in bed, not loving yourself, being fearful, we forget about having a purpose. And then the last thing that we do is we need to let go of the outcome. It's like, you know what? Rehabbing my leg. They're going to take some stuff off. My leg is going to be a little bit wimpy. It's going to be a little smaller than the other leg or a little flabbier than the other leg, but I'm going to keep doing the action steps that I need to take in order to get better. Does that make sense? So that's when I'm interviewing the people and when I'm writing the books, that is what I'm writing about. Those are the steps. Those are the questions that I'm asking people. And I love the universe. Last week, the universe gave me this great opportunity to prove my theory, to make it through the steps, to walk through the steps yet once again of what I go through all the time. And this time it was in my emotional life. It was in my emotional life. I had the opportunity last week to like go back to high school. And I mean like go back to high school with the catty girls. And it was not fun. I'm going to tell you something, it was not fun at all. But I had to walk myself through the steps. And I had to, so I'm going to just walk through those steps rather than the broken leg, how I dealt with it emotionally, on doing it on a day-to-day basis, not transforming my life and my career, what I needed to do to become, to write the book, to become a coach, to become more of a speaker, what I'm going through right now, but really just on a very simple, it was a 2-week, I mean, it led up, there was some stuff that happened that led up to me not being strong enough to, and then getting sucked back into that friggin' high school shit. And pardon me, but that's exactly what it was. I had allowed myself the last probably 3 months to allow other people to put their own sticky notes on me and to become something that I wasn't. I felt compared to, I felt like I had to start defending myself. I started feeling like I wasn't good enough because I was allowing other people to put their stuff, label other people's names onto me. And I had to just kind of come back and say, you know, I'm Nadine. My name is Nadine Music, and this is who I am. But leading up to that, it wasn't. So I still had some sticky notes that I allowed, and I take responsibility if there's other people to stick onto me. And so through meditation, I needed to, when I asked for help, and then through meditation, it was just like I needed to set some boundaries for myself and regroup and spend some more time with my friends, my closest friends, the people that have my best interest at heart. And to not talk. I needed to just not talk. I needed to do some daily meditations, and I needed to focus on the things that were important to Nadine, not anybody else, just Nadine. Well, during that process, when I was doing that, some other people, that meant I set boundaries, right? It meant I was setting boundaries. Well, some people, when we set boundaries, they don't like it when you set boundaries, especially when they don't understand what you're going through. They don't like it. And they question you and they think you're stupid and they think you're being emotional and they think all this stuff. And my good friends will tell you that I get very, very quiet and I just withdraw as I go through stuff. And I just need a lot of time. In fact, I've had 2 relationships that didn't work out. That they came back to me and said, man, I didn't realize how much time you needed to just be alone. And my best friends have all said, she'll be back and she comes back stronger. Just leave her alone and she comes back stronger. And that's what I do rather than gossiping or going out and doing stuff. I have a very small circle of friends that I rely on. So that was through my meditation, but I allowed those things to happen. So through meditation, trying to get rid of all the other people's sticky notes and the other names that people were placing on me and just remembering that I am Nadean and this is where I am in life. I allowed myself to get sucked in to a neighbor's drama. And there's a couple people in play, but I allowed myself to get sucked into that drama because I was told you need to get along with this person. And I really didn't even want to talk to this person, but because I was told, I did what I good girlfriend thing, and I did what I was told. I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't do what I knew was accurate. I didn't listen to my intuition, and I allowed myself to get involved. And this happens to us all the time. It probably happens to you at work. It happens to you, in a lot of different areas. This is why I'm sharing this with you, because it's a real life scenario that us average people go through. So after meditating and going through that and getting sucked into this negative situation, I then had to meditate again and just really pull myself back. And going through it, I got really upset. I mean, I was really upset. I was extremely angry. I was ready to blow up every relationship I had. I was done. I mean, I got to the point where I was done, absolutely done. And in order to overcome that, I had to let go of all the sticky notes. I had to let go of the gossipy things that were said. And I had to also, and letting go means forgiveness. I had to forgive myself for the role that I played by allowing myself to get hooked into a situation that was very, very negative and got really negative. And then once I got through that, and tell me, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. I had to accept my part into the game. So I had to undo the members, remember who I was. I had to remember who I was, right? Let go of everything, remember who I was. Then I had to accept the situation for what it was. I also had to accept my part in it for what it was, which was I went against my better judgment and I allowed myself to get hooked. You have to acknowledge those things. That's radical acceptance. And when you can understand your part in it, it's painful and you can walk through it. And once you can do that, then you're not afraid anymore, right? Because then when you can get to that point where, okay, you acknowledge I did something shitty, I lost it, I yelled and screamed, it was not pretty, but I did it. I own that part. Then you can forgive yourself and not be afraid. And once you can love yourself, remember, love and fear are the opposites. So once you can walk through it and you can love yourself, then you can start taking care of yourself, right? Then you can start taking care of yourself. You can stand up for yourself. I was then able to do that, stand up for myself, take care of myself and what I needed to do, whether it be walk by myself, journal, focus more on my business, looking at the whole thing, able to step back and say, oh my God, this is a great opportunity for me to share with other people because, man, a lot of people get into it. And it enabled me to walk through my program that I so believe in, and it just proved to me how well it works. The next thing I had to do was make myself vulnerable. I had to apologize. I had to make amends. I had to also sometimes being vulnerable and making amends. It also means standing up and calling other people on their stuff. Not angrily, but just, hey, these are my boundaries. I don't like it when this happens, and have those uncomfortable situations, those uncomfortable discussions with somebody. When you love yourself enough and you care enough and you can make yourself vulnerable, then you can have those kinds of difficult discussions. And my purpose had a purpose. My purpose was I didn't like feeling this way anymore. And my purpose was I needed to hold tight to my boundaries, and I needed to explain to other people, didn't need to, but I chose to, that these are my boundaries, and this is what I will and will not accept in my life. And this is how it is. And my purpose then was also to feel better about myself, to like myself better, and to like myself again, and to be who I know I can be, to be confident again, and to not let other people talking or whatever they say about me not even care, which takes me down into the let go of the outcome. I was willing to then have those difficult conversations. I was willing to be vulnerable and let go of the outcome. And the outcome could have been one of many things. The outcome could have been blowing up every relationship I had, not having any relationships anymore, and losing those friends. Or it could have been a bonding experience. But whatever the outcome was or is, needed to be, I threw it back to the universe and said, hey, I'm good with it. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm not going to lose my identity. My name is Nadean Music. And sometimes I have boundaries, and I am not for everybody. Everybody is not for me. We don't have to be friends with everybody. We don't have to be hateful or vengeful, but we don't need to make everybody happy. It's not my job. Honest to God, it's not my job. It's not your job. But my new job is to drive these things home as we go through what it is we need to do in our life, how we go through transitions is very important. And when we have a solid method, a system that supports us, that doesn't hold us down, it allows us to walk through those things better. So I hope those two examples that I gave you, one with the broken leg and then one, my personal experience of what I had to drag myself through, was one, I do prayer, meditation, and breath work. I so believe in that. Start there. Sitting quietly, because the answers will come. Letting go of who you're not. Other people's sticky notes, other people's impressions of you, whatever that is, whatever stories are being told, letting go of those things, letting go of what you're not, so you can remember, remember, remember who you truly are, which allows you to radically accept who you truly are and love yourself for who you are, whatever your financial situation is, whatever your job situation is, whatever your marital situation is, whatever your health situation is, whatever anything is, it is what it is, and you get to accept that about yourself. And then when we can stop being afraid of whatever it is, fear and love, then we can start loving ourselves. It's important to love ourselves and love where we're at without being afraid. That's why working from scarcity doesn't work, because it's fearful, it's fear-based, and we want love-based. Because when we can start loving those things, then we can start doing the things that care for our person in a positive manner. And then we need to be vulnerable. We need to ask for help. Like, I come back, I've got some really great girlfriends and some really good friends that can just tell me like it is. They know me well enough that they tell me my truth or they help me find my truth. They empower me rather than belittle me. And I come back and I can come back regrounded. And then I have a purpose and I'm able to identify my purpose at that time, whether that is to build a better relationship, whether that is to, oh, I don't like it when it does that. When I build a better relationship, or whether I get healthier, put up some more boundaries, whatever my purpose is. It doesn't have to be a great big purpose. It's just a little purpose. And then to let go of the outcome. And when we can love ourselves and take care of ourselves, and we can see the whole situation, whatever that is, then we can let go of the outcome and it becomes okay. And we may need to walk through those steps over and over and over again. So that's what this podcast, every time I do a podcast, those are the questions that I'm asking people. And by the way, I've got some really cool people. So if you have not seen the last 4 interviews that I've done, I hope you go back and look at those. And I've got some really cool other people coming up. So in my past ones, I interviewed Janice Sargent. She was awesome. She was she's an administrative teacher, awesome, who retired, went back to work and became a stewardess or a flight attendant. Sorry, she's a flight attendant. And the process that she went through after retirement to decide to do something else with her life, and what she went through, that process. And a lot of us are in that boat. We're in our 60s and we're less like, I'm just not done yet. I just still want to live my life, but I got to have some mind changes. So we talked with her. I interviewed my friend Kathy Halpin, who is a psychologist, and she's a family life MLFT, whatever, therapist. Yeah, MLFT, family marriage life therapist. Amazing. I met her in beauty school. So we go way back, and she talked about her process and everything she went through and kind of what she does with her clients and the process and how she's grown through her practice, which is amazing. I interviewed Christy, she's an energy healer, and she works and does energy healing as well. So we talked about her process and what happened and what brought her to where she is in her life. And my last one, April Ballestero. She wrote Living Unlayered, the book. So, go to Amazon and get that book, Living Unlayered. And she's got a journal in there as well and a planning calendar. And she's got the Living Unlayered Academy that she does. So you can go to onelightacademy.com, go to Amazon and buy her book, Living Unlayered. And she talked about her coaching practice. And we met. She was one of my first business coaches and then became a life coach. And then we've tag teamed back and forth. She got me actually into coaching, pointed me in a direction of coaching. She's always been kind of my pointer, which is awesome. Who do I have coming up? I have Dean Smith coming up. And I'm going to try to do my very first live with him. Dean Smith has an incredible story. He just wrote The Forgiveness Habit. So go to Amazon.com, get The Forgiveness Habit from him, buy that book. Incredible book. Mine is coming. I ordered it on this last week, so it should be here sometime this next week. But his story is amazing. So he's going to come on. We're going to interview him. I've got Leslie Philpott that's going to be coming on. She's an artist, and I met her in Toastmasters, and she's going to be talking about her journey of becoming more and going out on her own and becoming an artist. Who else do I have? I've got a couple people. Oh, I've got Carlos coming on. He immigrated here from Venezuela. He's an architect, an MBA. This guy is absolutely amazing. He came here as an adult. He is fabulous. He's another fabulous one. Super into rock climbing right now, and his journey is really cool. And I've got Rod that's going to be coming on as well. Again, met him in Toastmasters. He was a lobbyist, and he's retired. And he's going to be talking about, he's realized for the marijuana industry, so for the cannabis industry. So he's going to be talking to us about his journey and also kind of what he likes. And he does, because there's a lot of microdosing and stuff going on. And for therapy and whatnot. So he's going to be talking about that. So I've got some really cool stuff going on. Again, we're going to be going through that whole format and how it can be used in different aspects of your life. So I am so excited. So follow me. We'll get this out every week. I'll have something to say every week. So anyway, love you guys. And I'm excited to be here. And the more likes I get, I want to come out and do some more speaking. My book will be coming out whenever I finish it shortly. So the more of these I do, the more material I'm gaining from it. I would love to host some group sessions. We can do an all-day session or a 1-hour session. You let me know. I'm there for you. So anyway, thanks so much. I will talk to you soon.